Welcome back to Innovative Check, your reliable source of insights on global events that could affect your everyday life. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and don't forget to ring that bell to stay updated with our latest videos. In today's episode, we're delving into the recent shockwave that's hit global markets. Saudi Arabia and the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, have just announced a drastic cut in oil production, sending markets into a frenzy and potentially changing the game for Americans. Let's break it down. Saudi Arabia, a key member of OPEC and a major player in the global oil industry, has announced a huge reduction in oil production. The impact? Global fuel costs are set to soar, international relations may face strains, and the economic landscape could transform. From everyday American households to President Biden's administration, the ripple effects are far-reaching. But why would Saudi Arabia make such a move? Let's get into it. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to Innovative Check YouTube channel. This will help others see our videos. Saudi Arabia, as an influential member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, wields a significant amount of power in the global oil industry. Their recent announcement of a drastic reduction in oil production, by 1.15 million barrels per day from May until the end of the year, sent shockwaves through the world economy. The potential implications of this decision are far-reaching, affecting global fuel costs, international relations, and the economic landscape. This video seeks to unpack the layers of this development, exploring various perspectives and theories behind this move, its potential impact on the United States and the global economy, and Saudi Arabia's shift in alliances and strategies on the international stage. The announcement was met with mixed reactions from global players. On one hand, this decision could be beneficial for countries like Russia, as President Vladimir Putin continues his aggression towards Ukraine. On the other hand, it could spell trouble for countries heavily reliant on oil imports, like the United States. The increase in global fuel costs, prompted by the cut in oil production, could exacerbate the current inflation crisis, impacting the everyday lives of ordinary citizens worldwide. Furthermore, this move may strain international relations, especially between Saudi Arabia and the United States, which has urged Saudi Arabia and its allies to increase oil production to curb prices and weaken Russia's economic strength. The reasons behind Saudi Arabia's decision to slash oil production have been a subject of intense debate among analysts. Some view it as a form of criticism against the Biden administration's energy policies, while others perceive it as an attempt to solidify ties with China. However, another perspective suggests that Saudi Arabia is merely protecting its economic interests in the Gulf region. As the world transitions to cleaner energy, the value of oil reserves, especially those in the Gulf, may diminish over time. By reducing production, Saudi Arabia could be attempting to prolong the viability of its oil industry. President Joe Biden's response to the announcement was swift and assertive. He downplayed the potential harm of the decision, arguing that it would not be as devastating as projected. However, considering his earlier commitments to holding Saudi Arabia accountable for the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi and his push for more oil production, this announcement may put Biden's diplomatic skills to the test. The timing of the production cut announcement coincided with a period of fluctuating oil prices and economic instability. Saudi Arabia, as one of the world's leading oil producers, was heavily affected when oil prices dropped below $80 a barrel, causing considerable financial loss. Additionally, the recent banking crisis in the U.S. and concerns over a looming recession added another layer of complexity. As the world's largest economy, any financial turmoil in the U.S. inevitably sends ripples through the global market, causing distress among other major economies like Saudi Arabia. Therefore, the decision to cut production may have been driven by economic realities and financial survival as much as it was influenced by political maneuvering. In the post-Cold War era, the global geopolitical landscape is evolving, with nations exploring alliances beyond military might, focusing more on economic and technological prowess. In this context, Saudi Arabia's pivot towards China is indicative of its recognition of shifting global power dynamics. The growing relationship between Saudi Arabia and China, the world's second-largest economy, is underscored by an increasing number of joint ventures in the areas of technology, infrastructure, and energy. Notably, the two countries signed deals worth $28 billion in 2019 during the Second Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation in Beijing. These deals underline Saudi Arabia's ongoing diversification efforts, transitioning from an oil-dependent economy towards Vision 2030, an economic plan to reduce Saudi Arabia's dependence on oil, diversify its economy, and develop public service sectors. Furthermore, China's recent diplomatic role, mediating the restoration of diplomatic ties between Saudi Arabia and Iran, strengthens China's position in Middle Eastern politics. This diplomatic coup not only expands China's regional influence but also increases its attractiveness as an ally to Saudi Arabia, creating a more complex geopolitical dynamic that could challenge the traditional dominance of the U.S. in the region. The statement by Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman about no longer aiming to please the United States is a strong declaration of a significant shift in Saudi Arabia's foreign policy. This shift is moving the kingdom towards a more independent stance, focusing primarily on national interests, even if that means diverging from traditional alliances. This change in attitude was evidenced by the recent decision to cut oil production, a move directly contrary to U.S. requests. Historically, Saudi Arabia has cooperated closely with the U.S. in energy market policies. However, this new stance indicates a willingness to prioritize its economic needs over maintaining alignment with U.S. policy objectives. This approach could mark a new era in Saudi-U.S. relations, characterized by a more transactional and less symbiotic relationship. The decision by Saudi Arabia and OPEC to cut oil production can have far-reaching impacts on global oil prices. With the reduction in supply, oil prices are expected to surge, possibly reaching $100 a barrel, a level not seen since 2014. This price surge could be aggravated by the approaching summer season in the U.S., a period traditionally characterized by increased travel and, consequently, higher demand for gasoline. However, this potential surge in oil prices goes beyond fuel costs. It can translate into higher costs for consumer goods and services across the board. For instance, the U.S. Energy Information Administration points out that crude oil costs account for about 51% of the price of gasoline, meaning that a sharp increase in crude oil prices will be passed on to consumers at the pump. Additionally, as oil is fundamental to many industries, a spike in its price can increase production costs, which are often passed on to consumers, thus exacerbating inflation. In the context of the U.S., where inflation rates are already at a 40-year high, any additional inflationary pressure could place a significant burden on American households, potentially slowing down economic recovery from the pandemic. Therefore, Saudi Arabia and OPEC's decision to cut oil production not only affects the global energy market but also has the potential to exacerbate ongoing economic challenges. So there you have it, folks. The recent decision by Saudi Arabia and OPEC has sent tremors through the global economy, and we'll be keeping a close eye on how it unfolds. Be sure to stay tuned to Innovative Check for more updates on this evolving story. Don't forget to like, share, and comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on this development and how it might affect you. Until next time, stay informed, stay innovative.